welcome. Oh, actually, this is quite on brand. Even the coasters have that.
See?
Look at that. Wow.
Mine's dirty.
We're in the place. We are starting something new. Well, we're not kind of starting something new. We're kind of recycling something old into something new. Reuse, recycle, and
Reduce.
This is the Ottr Culture Podcast, a podcast brought to you by none other than Ottr Works, the fine people of it, like
Me.
Ben and
Miles.
Max.
Nice.
Still.
That's the point.
Same Ottr.
We just thought we wanted to make a podcast that was touching on the people of Ottr, rather than just focusing on Ben and I and trying desperately to get new guests. Before actually, let's just bring it more in-house and show a little bit more of our internal culture and our people. And this will be no better platform for that. So, yes, that's where we're at. Is that all right with everyone?
Love it, Dan. That was a really great intro. Thanks very much for being
No
here
worries.
today.
Thank you, Ben.
And just to reiterate that, what Dan said, we are going to be bringing radio host energy to these podcasts from now on, like we're on telly.
Thank you, Ben.
Away we go. It's the new Ottr Culture Podcast. I'm Ben Lawton. If you don't know what I am, you know now.
What are you?
Exactly. Okay, so how should we kick things off? I guess there's an elephant in the room, or should I say a designer in the room.
Wow. And Miles in the room.
Pause for effect. Thank you. Miles, give us a bit of an intro to yourself, my good man.
I'm a designer for Ottr Works. I primarily do like branding sort of projects, and I'm 23, almost 24.
Young meat.
Nice. Miles, tell us a bit more. What are you formally educated? Where are you from?
Yeah, so I have a design degree from Falmouth University, and that's about it really.
What do you enjoy most about life?
About life,
Yeah. Do you like that? Radio host style.
that's a pretty big question.
Throw them in deep, you know?
I mean, I like my plants. I like my dog.
Yeah. Do you
Expand, because you don't just like plants.
I fucking love plants. Well, I swear. yeah.
Yeah.
All right, sounds. Yeah.
Into the mic, address the viewers.
Address the viewers about my plants.
Your
This
plants.
camera, that one there.
And speak like close to the mic like that. That way
Yeah.
we get all of your
Arch my like
aneurysms.
break my back.
Yeah, that's
So
fine.
from the diaphragm, like proper.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
We want the full heart.
The husk.
the husk, the beautiful radio voice.
You make your own pots? No?
No, so my mate makes plots,
Right.
and I've like helped out make a few. And he does off like concrete and much other materials. And from that, basically, my friend was really into them, like plant stuff. And I was kind of like, my room is dead over like the pandemic. Like going back from, I used to live next to the seaside in Falmouth, which was really nice. So if you went out somewhere, it's gorgeous. Whereas back in Swindon, my room's kind of a bit dead. So I got massively into plants and started bringing all these greenery into there, sprinkle a little bit of life. And like, it's also kind of nice because you get to engage with it a bit more and like pot it myself and like pick out different ones. Like I've got like clippings, so you basically get like a big plant or whatever and chop a little bit off, and then you put it in some water and it just gradually like sprouts out. And yeah,
You love it, don't you? I can see the way you
I love it so
the way you're
much.
describing it.
Whoever suggested that Miles talks about plants was brave, because he could have gone on for years here.
Oh yeah, I'll keep on going.
Tell us your favourite plant.
Favorite plant?
Yeah.
I got a cheese plant that's not a cheese plant. So
What's a cheese plant? Does it grow cheese?
yeah, basically.
Nah, you're lying.
No, of course not. No, it's just it's got like little holes in it, but
Fooled
I
me.
don't know what it's called. But it's basically like it looks like a cheese plant, but it's not a cheese plant. And that one, like, it was basically really, really tiny. It was about this big, and now it's like massive in my room.
For the listeners only, it's gone from how big size wise to how big size wise.
Exact measurement.
Not everyone can see
Exact
this.
Like a
measurements.
half a bend to about 4 dans. Wow. A
Yeah.
hammock of cheese.
Hunk of cheese, yeah, that's about reasonable.
But it's a plant, not cheese.
no,
Why do they call it a cheese plant?
it looks like cheese.
Isn't the shape of the leaves? It looks like is it Edam cheese?
I do not know. You
think-
have to
Holy cheese.
ask an
I've made
expert. I'm an amateur plant lover.
That's pretty good.
Well, you've resuscitated Starleaf Volume 2 in the office.
Yeah,
he
I've
has.
helped save a plant.
Big ups for that.
Indeed.
There we go. Max, how about you, mate? It's been a while since we've heard from you on this podcast. How
I've
have
been
you
lying
been?
low.
What's happened?
Lots of things have happened. I've been doing loads of shoots. I've been up and down the country. Been all over the shop. I was in Plymouth this week. Last week even. What day is it? Yeah, last week. Lots of driving, lots of fun. Talking about computers. Talking about diversity and inclusivity within computer science, which was actually really interesting to hear about. And don't know if it was coincidence or not, or if I just brought the good weather, but it was the first day that the sun was actually out properly. So I got to drive back with my Sunny G's on in the van, listening to some good old sign-off tunes, manifesting that sweet, sweet sign-off that the photos will get. Touch wood.
What songs were they?
Was it just the same sign-off song on
What's the
repeat?
name of the song? Yeah, I can't remember what it's
It's
called.
Daryl Oates. Is
Yeah,
it?
My
All
Dreams
My
Come
Dreams
True.
Come True.
Big
Yeah.
tune, big tune.
That's for those who don't know. When we have a project signed off in the office, I think Dan, you met this. It's now we play that song on loud.
It's good. It's a pick-me-up
Is that
song.
last four?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you did that one time in there, and I was getting hyped. So I was like, "Why are we doing this?" I had no idea.
I don't know why I'm here.
I'm happy it's on, but I don't know why.
Mate, it was nice and warm. I had my sunnies on, windows down, in the big van, on cruise control, absolutely blaring You Make My Dreams Come True. I was like a dog. You know when Labradors stick their head out the window? I was like me.
Yep.
Except my head wasn't out the window, Ben. I was being responsible.
Oh, I don't mind.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you. No, you probably shouldn't do that. I was thinking, how do
remember
I
that for
make
next
this
time.
not bad? How about you, Dan? What's new in your world, mate?
Not much really, mate. Just
You got a new garage.
yes,
And a new back?
down to my personal. Oh yeah, back. There's been back improvements actually. Yeah. For a while, I've had back issues. We won't go into the date too much.
For health insurance reasons.
So yeah, it's only been about 6 months, but terrible back issues. Went to a doctor, saw a doctor. He got me an MRI scan. Never had one of those before. Basically sat in some sort of metal tube. Had to stay still for about 15 minutes. They put music in my ears on headphones. That was quite
What
good.
music was it?
I requested Radio 6 music.
Of course.
Of course I did.
What came on though? Like, do you remember what you heard?
Although I was thinking like, I wish it was like, I should have asked for like country radio or something like that. That could have been quite cool. And then, yeah, had my MRI back and I've got some dodgy discs in my lower back. Never going to improve, so it's only downhill from here.
Nice.
But yeah, osteopath appointments, feeling better, feeling fresh.
Very good.
Because it's all about PMA. That's what I tell myself
PMA.
anyway, yeah.
Which is what, Dan?
Positive mental attitude.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you lost the watch and gained a watch.
Oh yeah, and then I lost my Garmin watch, and then I've got one of the new Apple. Well, an Apple Watch is a new one.
Yeah.
It's just new, isn't it?
Come on.
To me, got
It's just new, isn't it, to me?
It's the new one.
got a tattoo as well of a horse with a cowgirl riding it, and today I learned the difference between doubt and doubt. Wow.
Yeah, they're completely different.
Context
Don't
is a
start,
great
mate,
thing.
but it's
It's
just
not-
it's been a long day, and it's Monday. Yeah, that's about it really.
Big start to
The
the
world's interesting, isn't it?
It is interesting.
And this world is the Otter world is interesting, isn't it?
Yes.
Lots have changed.
Lots has changed.
Like what, Ben?
Beautiful segue.
Clean segue.
Watch me now mess this up. Well, we're now a 5-man team.
Jeez.
Come on.
Welcome.
And we have, I guess, for the first time in our lives, actually started to formulate what it is we do as a company, why we do it, and how we do it, and who we do it for, and actually starting to put like a mission, a vision, and a values sheet or Ottr Rulebook, as Dan has coined it, together.
Is that been off the back of something that we start to look at that?
Yeah, so I signed on to a course, about to go weird then. I signed onto a course funded by the government. It's called Help to Grow. Nice. Okay. Which is basically a business management course where the government subsidised 90% of it. So you've only got to pay I think it's 800 out of the $9,000 for the course.
Jeez.
Obviously, it's not something we would look to do otherwise because that's a ridiculous amount of money. You can only be eligible if you're a new business and you have at least 5 permanent employees. So I wanted to do this for about a year. As soon as Miles joined, hit the button.
Straight in.
Boom.
We're in. So I started that, and that's been really fun. It's basically an MBA, but it's not an MBA. So you get
NBA.
You play
Please explain.
NBA?
an MBA.
2K?
No, MBA. It's a type of business course.
Member of the Brother Association, right? MBA.
Is that it?
Is that what it stands for?
I think it's
Made it
a
up.
Master of Business Administration.
That sounds.
I think it's
very
it's like an American term for a high business degree or something. So it's not actually that, but it's structured the exact same way. It's like Fizzy One and champagne. It's not champagne because it doesn't come from champagne, but it tastes and feels exactly the same.
Nice.
The exact same fizzy effects.
So you're back in education.
So back in education, yeah. I'm doing this non-MBA, and it's a new topic every week for about 12 weeks. And I've even been to UE a few times, university, and become a student.
Wow.
Didn't get a student discount card for Top Man, did I?
No.
Fuming.
Have you got any discount cheeseburgers yet?
None. Don't get a card or anything.
You just got to know where to go, because on the uni campuses there will be some cheap food places.
Yeah, but I want to get in, get out. When I'm there, I just want to be here. When I'm here, I want to be there.
Welcome to uni life.
That's luckily you got the test though, because that just gets you in and out quick.
It does until Amber needs it, and I've got to take the van.
Wow. Don't bring personal stuff into this.
Sorry. And
No one cares about your
Amber,
life.
if you're listening, sorry, I know that was a group decision. I'm just a bit sour about it, but looking forward to seeing you tonight. Just kidding, babe. I do love you very much. Joss, leave that in. And take that a little bit out. But yeah, you probably want to know about what I've been learning about, right?
Yeah,
like
go on.
what sort of meat I've been diving into.
Ooh.
So we've been doing. I'll give you a list of what I've done so far, and you can ask me about them if you want. So doing strategy and innovation, digital adoption. We'll skip that one because it was shit. Vision, mission, and values. Developing a marketing strategy, building a brand, organizational design, employee engagement, and then most recently, high performance workplace.
That's a lot of stuff for one person to learn.
Yeah. Well, I guess you do get 12 weeks though.
Yeah, but like, what job role are a lot of these people in? Are they all business owners or what? Because surely, like, you'll have in a company a marketing person who will look after the marketing side of that, and then you'll have HR who looks after the people, and then the business strategy is what you would do. But you're learning all of this in one crash course.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess that's the role of a business owner, isn't it, Dan? Like, it's just many hats. So you kind of just learn. I guess it's just stuff that you wouldn't normally think to do or know about, and that's why they're teaching you it. Like, for example, how to send an email. Don't need to be taught that. I send a lot of emails.
I don't know how to do that.
But other stuff, like, I wouldn't have had any idea about effective operations or... No, that's today at 4. About the other stuff though, which has been good, but I think it's encouraged me to rethink what we do here, and more importantly, why we do it. And then we've sat down, Dan, and with you, Miles, and put down like a brand guidelines or a rule book about who we are.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like you've got quite a lot of value from it?
Yeah, even stuff that I guess we haven't done. I haven't put anything physical into the world yet. It's more of like it's taught me a lot that I am actively taking forward and making changes every week based on it, which is handy, which is really cool.
Nice.
For example, we now have IT security put in place.
Very good.
Yeah, so all you people trying to get in our IT,
Good luck.
Yeah.
good luck.
Your weak point is not me.
Yes.
Or me.
123 chicken 1 is no longer the password.
Wow. So off the back of that course, we spoke about the values and the mission statements and stuff like that.
Correct.
Which we then handed over to Miles to design. Miles, do you want to talk us through some of the design stuff that you've done since you've joined us here?
Yeah. So, do you want to go brand guidelines or just...
No, we'll go broad. Let's go overall.
Be free, Miles.
Be free.
Everything you've done since
Everything
coming
I've
in the
done.
door.
Yes.
I think brand guidelines is the go-to one, right? So basically with that, it's a lot of type-based stuff. It's normally kind of just like a A4 page landscape, and then just organizing text, so like having a consistent hierarchy. So I think initially I did like a lot of like really bold titles, but then we found that kind of it just merged together. Mm-hmm. So for that, like what I've done instead is kind of just have bold titles initially, and then like makes little subsections. And we're trying to use a lot of our own images because obviously we're a company that does mainly photography, videography. So why would I use stock photos? Mm-hmm. And then other than that, I've been doing, could I say what else I'm doing, or just kind of...
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Just not that thing that's super secret.
Oh, the bad
The NASA stuff.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Not even Max knows about it.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of like posters as well, like type-based stuff again. And just trying to incorporate colors. Like, not all the work necessarily is stuff I'm like fully comfortable in, but I think it's kind of good to get me out there and have like more creative control, because initially I find out a lot of my friends who do have design jobs, they're kind of quite restricted what they do. Whereas with this one, which has been really nice, is like you said, oh, do this. We'll kind of give you some kind of general outlines, but then if I have a suggestion, you're like quite free to let me kind of just mess around with it. And like a lot of stuff doesn't necessarily work, but then after kind of like just doing that and distilling it down, eventually you get kind of a decent idea. But yeah, it's been mainly like obviously branding for our brand guidelines and doing some like kind of small poster work.
Talk to us also about your screen printing. That's quite cool.
Yeah. So again, over lockdown, so with the plants, basically I wasn't doing much design work initially, and it was getting quite boring because obviously playing Xbox is sound for like a week, and you're like, oh, I can't be doing that whole like every day during a pandemic. So I got really, really into screen printing because I did that on my third year of uni. And basically that is a process of you make a design, put it onto like a big screen, and then you print it to a t-shirt. So like this is probably not screen printed, but for example, you could screen print onto that and then make that into a design. So I did a lot of that for a friend's brand initially. So I designed some kind of weird 60s stuff for the clothing brands and then just printed a load of it. And I mean, hopefully we'll get some screen printing stuff done for Ottr in the works.
Nice. The Ottr spring drop coming soon.
Is it?
Or summer drop. Depends how it pushes. Max, are you excited about that?
I am probably the most excited I've ever been for anything about having
Really?
kit. Oh mate, the idea of having like full Ottr stash, I want to be like dripped out head to toe. I want to be able to walk into like Tesco on a Saturday just dripped out in Ottr stuff.
What sort of stuff do you want for the drop? What are we looking at?
Go on, Max.
Well,
I've
got a bit of shopping list. No, I'd love to get like a fleece or like a jumpery kind of thing, because sometimes like we'll be on shoot, especially like in weather like now. The soft shells are so nice, but sometimes like they'll be really good for the morning for the first 2 hours, but then after that they're a bit too hot. And you don't want to go straight to a t-shirt, so having like an in between, like a fleece or like a pullover jumper or a half zip or something. Hoodies, slides. I would really like a flat cap, like a flat peak baseball cap, so I can wear it backwards. And
Are you taking the piss?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How far is going with that?
No, I think like a long sleeve t-shirt would be really, really cool. Maybe another style of the short sleeve t-shirt as well. And yeah, I think a half zip would just be so sick. But then I love half zips. So.
I'd like to get some of those wool vests.
Wool vest, like
vests.
You know the Carhartt ones in Forum they got?
just like a hardware, like a
Yeah.
Well, you mean like the zip-up ones?
Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah, like
Nice.
as in, you know my coat, the camel one I've got. You like
Oh, that
There's
would
no
be
arms.
sick.
Like that. I
Yeah,
like those a lot. Please
Pretty
make
much
that
those
happen.
be.
we'll make it happen.
Can we have it by tomorrow?
Possibly,
tomorrow,
yeah.
yeah.
When it comes to your course, did you do anything about merch design in your course?
No, no, nothing.
Would that come under like brand awareness or like building a brand?
I think they go into deeper levels about brand, like, you know, making a brand that people believe in rather than
Rather than
merch.
make hats.
You know, but yeah. But I mean, that's that. I guess it links into it, because if you had someone who believes in the brand, they would probably buy the merch, right?
Mm-hmm. It's always a bit of a weird one, though, I think, when it comes to, like, it'd be nice if we was to create a line or a range or whatever, and then people would want to buy it. But it's that.
Yeah, I
Who
mean,
the hell
no,
wants to
it's
buy
more
this
for
shit?
us to kind of wear on shoots
Yeah.
and like just kind of have around the office.
Depends where the YouTube channel goes, though, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I
and this
think-
podcast.
Yeah.
I think
Who
also
knows?
like we're a creative like company. It is a kind of creative outlet, isn't it? Like there's been so many times where you know we'll put clothes in the group chat, or you know you'll send me stuff, or I'll send you stuff, or whatever, and we're always talking about it. So like it's quite a natural outlet to go, and we come up with all these designs. We've got 2 actual designers that work here now. Let's just chuck some stuff at a wall and see what we can make.
True. Going back to your course, why did you do it? What made you want to do the course? And what have you got from it so far? I feel like we didn't touch that too much.
I wanted to learn more about what I didn't know, which is a lot. I wanted to theorize my experience in business, because I knew what I was doing right, but I didn't know like why it was right. If that makes sense. Like, so you can tell you can like, I can go into business and be like, oh, I'll be really nice to this person, and then we'll build a relationship, and they'll give me money, right? But to do a course on client engagement and then talk 4 hours about the in-depth psychology behind that, it actually teaches you why that works. And I think it's like when you learn something, you learn it, but when you teach it, you learn it on a much deeper level. I guess it's like that. I'm learning kind of stuff that I already knew, but on a much deeper level. It's nice to have the network from it as well, because you speak to everyone else who's doing the course, who wants to improve and to learn things they didn't need to learn. But I guess I just I've tried business courses before, and they've always been wank. And they've always been like council led or something else, and the push has never been. I feel like most of the courses out there now, or the ones that I've seen or experienced, have always been very much, you've just started a company, what do you do? And I'm not in that position.
Yeah.
I'm like 3 or 4 or 5 years in. I want to know, you know, how to take it from this to this, you know. So like for me, like the goal, I want to know how we can take Ottr from 6 figures to 7 figures. Like, what does that look like? How do you go from making £100,000 a year to £1 million a year? Like what does that mean? You know, £1 million a year is like 86 grand a month. It's an astronomical number to think about, but it should be relatively doable somehow, right? But yeah, it's cool. It's been a cool course, and some of the teachers are funny. One guy came in and he was like, what did he say? He was teaching the course. I think it was like the second week on Zoom call, and his son just comes in. He's like, "Dad, Mum's washing the cat in the sink." And everyone on the call was like, "What the fuck?"
I paid $9,000 for this.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. And then one guy was the ex-marketing director for Lego, and now the marketing director for the Eden Project in Dorset or Devon. That's really cool, meeting people like that and hearing their experiences and stuff.
Knowledgeable people.
Yeah. And one guy was the psychological business growth manager for Rolls-Royce.
Jeez.
Really just like interesting. You know, that's not like a standard job. That's someone who is looking at the psychology of the business, about why people want to work there and how they can improve that. Something that like you can't walk into a role like that. You need to have like countless years of experience, degrees in psychology, and then to put that into a business narrative is insane. Mm-hmm. Like, you have to get a group psychology of like 10,000 people to understand what makes it tick. Crazy stuff.
And then, do you have a mentor as well? Is that right?
Yeah, I got a mentor.
What does he do?
We speak to him every week. He's just a guy who worked with loads of brands. He's like, I think, I don't want to say he's a certain age, just in case I'm wrong, but he's an older gentleman, around my dad's age, I guess. But he's worked with brands like Ogilvy and stuff like that in London growing up. Worked with loads of branding companies, and yeah, it's been fun to I guess rehash my thoughts, and because I tend to brain dump stuff, so it's good to then speak to him and get it to wrap up. But yeah, it's been a good course so far. I'm looking forward to showing everyone my growth action plan.
Wow, buzzing for it.
My GPA.
Is it worth
my GAP?
Going over like what brand guidelines actually are and what a mission statement is?
We can do, although I think we should do that when we actually show Max and Joss.
Yeah,
I'm so excited to see.
They have no idea what it is yet.
The direction.
Yeah. And I think it'll also be good, maybe when we've got ours kind of nailed down, we can do a podcast about what we've chosen our values to be and why we believe in those.
Yeah.
Because that falls underneath the Ottr culture.
Yeah, definitely to put it externally, don't we? Mm-hmm. Maybe if we have, I don't know if it would be cool to have it on the website. Not like the whole PDF, but like parts of it in text format.
Well, people do usually have stuff like that as a downloadable PDF at the bottom.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
you can learn about.
Cool.
About us thing.
Yeah.
I think it'd be really cool as well to send this document to clients,
Yeah.
new clients who are starting to engage with us as well, so they can see what we're about.
Sweet. Well, I think to summarise,
to summarize, it's been really good so far. It's been really challenging though, because it takes up a lot more time than you think. It's not just like, oh, it's 2 hours here and 1 hour here, because there's a lot of it's a lot to process. So I'm going to bed most nights, but my mind's just like worrying because I'm thinking about stuff. So on that side, it's been, I don't want to use the word stressful, but it's been busy to take it on alongside everything else. But I'm definitely glad. I'm really glad I did it. Hasn't been a waste of money.
Sweet. That's good to know, because I'm the business. I can't have you wasting money, mate.
If you could, obviously you haven't completed the course yet, but what are 2 or 3 takeaways that you could say from what you've done up until now? What are like 3 takeaways that you'd say would be
like tips that he gives to other people?
Like I've seen quite a lot of like course advertising and stuff like that, and you watch these adverts and you think it's so vague. And I understand that obviously you have to, and actually do the course, so they might go into more detail. But I think a lot, especially courses online, a lot of them are very wishy-washy. What are like 3 things that you've taken away already that you think have helped or will help?
I guess first one is you need to understand, when you need to start to think, why are we doing this? Why are we here? Is it just to make money? Okay, then what, how can we make more money? Are we doing this because we want to better the planet? We want to make better videos? We want to have an impact on people and clients, staff? Or do we want to create a business that people want to work for? You need to look at, kind of answer those questions, I think. That's made me look at that. It's also made me look at, things that we were really overlooking, like organizational design, like, the idea of putting a hierarchy in place. Not that we necessarily have one in terms of our culture, but for new people coming in like Mars and stuff, not knowing who the hell to report to and who's who, I think it's really handy. And there's been like loads of obvious stuff that I think as a business you should have, that we just, how were me and Dan supposed to know to put that in? We're just 2 dudes who started it out of my bedroom when we were 22, having no idea what the fuck was going on. And then we just went for it. But, and then another one was like digital adoption, which really like pushed me into saying like, okay, look, the whiteboard that we use for our project is really good, but like this isn't scalable and it's not going to be good forever. Notion or having some sort of project software, CRM, it's just, we have to we've got to bite the bullet and just use it harder and more, as well as getting like IT security put in place. And then I guess, not to give you an easy one, a third one would be something like, I guess one that was interesting was employee engagement, because it's something that we already do, and I realize a lot of companies don't do it. But the fact we have monthly OKRs as a company is extremely valuable to you guys, I assume.
Yeah, 100%.
Because a lot of the data shows that, and a lot of the companies who are on the course aren't doing regular monthly catch-ups, and some people are really pissed off about it because they don't feel heard, and that makes people less engaged in the company because they feel like they have less input and less opportunity. And then B, like, you can't really get concerns like across or get appraisal. And people want appraisal, they want to hear that, and having that monthly meeting, I think's intuitive, and having the goal setting and stuff. And it surprised me by how much people weren't doing that. And to me, I thought that was just something that's so logical to just put in place, because like at the end of the day, you're the people that work for you.
Yeah,
that's what the brand is. And if you're not looking after them, what the fuck are you doing? I can't imagine a world where we have a company where people are unhappy. It's like that's always number one. I know, like it's like suicide to say that clients aren't number one, but they're not. People who work here are, because if they're not happy, the clients aren't going to be fine. If you're not happy here, Max, your work's going to have an effect, and therefore the clients will. I think Virgin had a statement like that. It's like if you look after your staff will look after your customers, and it's just like that's the hierarchy of it. And I think it's just so true.
Nice.
Good? That was clean, mate.
Oh,
I was like I was so engaged. I don't think I blinked once. I was like, I just had to wipe the drool off my mouth.
We can reel that, Josh, can't we?
Yeah, I think that'd be a very worthy reel.
There we go.
Well
I feel
done.
like I've done the course without paying 900
There you go.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, just to kind of summarize the podcast here, the future of the Ottr Culture Podcast. In my eyes, I see this podcast being a platform that has varying people from Ottr. It's not always going to be you and I or us four. Maybe next week it'll be a tech episode that has Ben, Max and Joss again, like the old ones. Maybe the week after it has a graphic design chat and we have a guest on. So, we're open to having varying topics. It's just a matter of showing the people who are behind the brand and giving us a bit of a platform to talk. Is there anything that you guys are looking forward to talking about on the podcast, or you thought about?
I'm really looking forward to doing more tech stuff. I really enjoy those. We waffle on about tech and all that kind of stuff in the office anyway, so it's going to be good to condense all that into an outlet, probably get a lot more work done with it not being done in there and it being done in here instead. And also like film stuff, really. I feel like we all get like, it's weird, it's just condensing everything that we talk about in between jobs into this room.
Yeah.
And into a more shareable form. So I'm looking forward to that.
Long form conversations.
Yeah.
I think you're right, Dan. It's going to be a lot easier just to have these conversations about the pressure of having guests and trying to organise that, because it's just it's so difficult to do unless you're a full-time podcast producer, I think.
And it's also quite nice that we can, if there is ever the need or ever the chance, we can throw a guest into the mix and have different people on, But that doesn't have to be led by just two people or like strict people. It can be anyone. So, I think it's really vast, and I think it's only going to help us push our brand even more. So,
I think so.
Any closing points?
No, I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to what the world will bring.
Nice. Miles?
No, not really.
Just happy to be here.
Just happy to be here. I mean, going back to what I'm looking forward to, I mean, obviously film stuff is really interesting. Like having a platform to discuss more like design projects or like design trends, like fashion trends, like will be quite nice instead of just in the office, like getting into like kind of long little conversation about that sort of thing. So more like topical combos will be nice.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it'd be good to talk about those trends for sure. And even like trends in, we could even look at like the trends in fashion or whatever and how they then move into design and into the kind of world that we
links
live.
in different ways. I'm going to like screen printing. That's just a one-off project we're doing, but that still links back to our core brands as well as like other stuff we want to do and like maybe areas we want to get into. So there's it all links.
Yeah, for sure.
It's quite hard though, I think, to look in and think, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like that whole branding side for your own company is quite difficult.
It's quite ironic that we've called the new podcast the Ottr Culture Podcast, because that was something like, I remember when I joined, it was like everyone always talks about Ottr Culture, but you don't really know what that is until you've been in it for a couple of months and you're like, okay, now I've sussed it. But now it's like
putting that
We've got
on
a
paper.
podcast called Ottr Culture, and you spent the last few weeks sort of really narrowing down what is
like
Ottr
distilling
Culture.
it, like,
Yeah.
to that point.
It's difficult.
Yeah, I bet.
It's difficult because you understand the culture now. It's difficult to put that into paper.
Whenever people are like, "Oh, what are they on about Ottr Culture?" I sit there, I still don't really know, but I know what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I don't know
You
how.
feel it, but you can't explain it.
But then you just sound like that guy, just like, "Oh, you wouldn't know, man. You're not there."
Yeah.
Like,
Well, hopefully with like a little bit of descriptive writing with what we've done in the brand guidelines, and also just this platform of a podcast should give you an insight into who we are and what we do,
I
and
think
that
so.
is overall the Ottr Culture. So
yeah.
yeah, fingers crossed it works. I think it will. I think it's got more legs than our previous tests.
I mean, worst case scenario, it doesn't. We go under.
Yeah, true. Well, there you go, Max.
There we go.
Thanks everyone for watching or listening.